Hello and welcome to your essential reality check on the latest in machine and artificial intelligence. I'm your host Niels Koring, and this month there's no shortage of bold claims, flashy demos, and benchmark swagger. But how much of it actually holds up? Anthropic has unveiled its Claude 4 model family, promising bigger brains, longer chats, and smarter tools. But once again, most of the big wins come from self-reported and well-analyzed benchmarks. And Google? Slick presentations at I/O, a new AI assistant, and a video model that talks, but limited transparency on what's under the hood. Also, some limitations of current AI systems are showing. A study reveals just how easily autonomous agents can be manipulated, fueled by poisoned websites into leaking data or taking harmful actions. And as for those impressive scores on benchmark tests, turns out some LLMs may have seen the answers in training. Finally, we zoom out, way out. DeepMind's CEO says AGI is just around the corner. But critics argue today's models are still stumbling over basic reasoning. If you're looking for more than the hype, if you want signal over noise, you are in the right place. From new tools to big ethical questions, we've got the full story broken down for humans, no fine-tuning required. Let's dive into the first story then. Anthropic just dropped its most powerful AI models yet, Claude 4 Opus and Claude 4 Sonnet. And according to the company, they are not just smart, they are 7 hours of autonomous workday smart. Which raises the obvious question, how long before Claude asks for a lunch break or stock options? Unveiled at Anthropic's first ever developer conference, these new models boast some bold claims. Better reasoning, parallel tool use, multilingual support, and a knack for complex tasks like software debugging, long-term planning, even navigating a Pokemon game. Yes, apparently Pikachu is now part of AI benchmarking. Claude 4 is the headliner here. Anthropic calls it the best coding model in the world, capable of handling terminal commands, researching online, and even remembering key facts from your files. Claude 4 Sonnet, the more efficient version, trades some raw power for speed and cost effectiveness. It's designed to be fast, reliable, and task-focused, more of a dependable sidekick than a show-stealing lead. Let's be real, early Claude 4 hype came mostly from Anthropic, but with LM Arena's leaderboard, we've got more reliable benchmarks. Claude 4 ranks number 6 in text, behind Gemini and GPT variants. Solid, but not leading. Yet in web development, it's tied for number 1, with Claude Sonnet 4 close behind. So yeah, Claude 4 isn't just marketing anymore, it's proving itself in the wild. Also worth noting, Anthropic is playing it extra safe. Claude 4 is wrapped in what they call ASL 3 safety protocols, the AI version of putting bumpers on a bowling lane. These are designed to prevent misuse, especially in sensitive domains like bioweapons, hacking, or yes, jailbreak prompts. But this isn't just about model specs. Anthropic's annualized revenue more than doubled this year, now topping $2 billion. That's with major backing from Amazon, of course. So yeah, Claude isn't just thinking long-term, it's funded for it. Anthropic says it's building AI that can act as a reliable, long-term collaborator, not just a chatbot with good manners. It's an ambitious vision, but as always in AI, the bigger the promise, the closer we need to look. And while Claude's performance marks a high point for self-reported capability, Google's latest announcement shows that the race for fast, multimodal AI is very much on and speeding up. At this year's I/O conference, Google made one thing very clear. AI is no longer just in the cloud. It's on your phone, in your browser, possibly your eyeglasses, and maybe even planning your weekend. From Gemini 2.5 Pro and Flash to a pair of future-facing smart glasses, Google is doubling down on a vision of a universal assistant, one that talks, listens, sees, translates, and even RSVPs for you. The new Gemini models now support voice output, real-time screen sharing, and camera-based interaction. Point your phone at a broken blender and Gemini might help you fix it, or at least look like it could. The 2.5 Flash model is now the default. Leaner, faster, and clever. For power users, Gemini 2.5 Pro connects across tools like Deep Research and Gemini Canvas, a studio for creating infographics, quizzes, podcasts, or even full apps from simple prompts. Imagen 4 powers improved image generation with cleaner text rendering, and Veo 3 brings cinematic AI video generation with sound effects, voice, and even character dialogue. Think of it as Hollywood meets autocomplete. But this isn't just a tech showcase, it's a business move. Google's rolling out premium tiers, including an AI Ultra subscription at $249 a month. Faster access, more storage, earlier features, basically a VIP pass to the AI future. And with $75 billion in capital investments forecasted this year, yes, billion, Google isn't just trying to win the race, it's funding the track. Also, a new generation of Android-powered smart glasses. They translate conversations in real time, recognize objects around you, and thanks to partnerships with eyewear brands Warby Parker and Gentle Monster, actually look like something you'd wear outside a tech expo. But here's the real test. Even if the glasses are stylish and the AI is helpful, are people ready to wear computers on their faces? Google's trying to make ambient AI feel seamless, but the line between assistive and invasive is going to be a different one for everybody. From cutting-edge models to multimodal assistants, it's clear the AI race is accelerating at the top. But it's not just the tech giants making moves. Some of the most surprising AI breakthroughs are happening in everyday apps, like the one quietly revolutionizing how millions of people learn a new language. Duolingo, the world's most lovable green owl, just got a serious AI upgrade. And it's not just about reminding you to practice Spanish at 10 p.m. anymore. Thanks to generative AI, Duolingo more than doubled its course catalog, cranking out 148 new language programs in 1 year. For context, it took 12 years to build the first 100. At the center of this leap is BirdBrain, Duolingo's custom AI system. It's not just creating lessons, it's reimagining how people learn, powering each step of the learning framework, analyzing learner data, designing adaptive content, generating practice, and adjusting delivery on the fly. Basically, the owl isn't just watching, it's learning, predicting, iterating, and maybe low-key judging your grammar. But this isn't just about scale, it's changing how instruction is built. Designers now act as AI orchestrators, managing prompts, checking cultural nuance, and ensuring quality across languages. And while the evaluation once meant a quiz or two, now it's continuous, driven by tabs, typos, and trend lines. Critics warn that AI could dehumanize education, but Duolingo says it's about personalization at scale, giving more learners across the world faster, better, and more cultural relevant access. So what's next? AI does the grind, content pacing, personalization, humans focus on empathy, ethics, and creativity. Duolingo is not just teaching language, it's showing us what the next era of learning might sound like. And it might sound a lot like you speaking Spanish, Korean, or French a whole lot sooner than expected. As companies like Duolingo harness AI to accelerate learning, others are grappling with the security implications of increasingly autonomous systems. AI agents are getting smarter, more independent, and it turns out dangerously gullible. A new study from Columbia University exposes how autonomous agents, the kind managing emails or browsing on your behalf, can be manipulated by poisoned websites to leak sensitive data. The trick: these agents trust authority signals. If a site looks popular or well-known, they'll often follow instructions, even if malicious prompts are hidden inside. And this is just one threat. Cybersecurity researcher Facundo Fernandez outlines more: prompt injections, training time backdoors, data poisoning, and malicious instruction chaining. A slow drip of benign commands that lead to dangerous outcomes. In one case, an AI assistant forwarded confidential emails, no malware, just a cleverly worded message. In another, a prompt led to a full database leak. Fixes include real-time traffic monitoring, hybrid firewalls, and anomaly detection tools that combine old-school logic with machine learning. Because in this new frontier, protecting your AI is just as important as protecting your laptop. In the age of autonomous AI, it's not just about what the agent knows, it's about who it listens to and whether we can trust it to choose wisely. So, as models like Claude 4 blow past benchmarks, solving math, passing exams, one question lingers: are they reasoning or just remembering? That's the concern behind data contamination. When models are tested on datasets they were trained on, it skews results, making systems look smarter than they are. For example, a 2023 study from Abacus AI, Carnegie Mellon, and the University of Maryland tracked benchmarks like Project Euler and Codeforces against model training cutoffs. Sure enough, performance spiked on problems available before the cutoff, suggesting models were memorizing, not reasoning. Now that's not exactly cheating, it's more like accidental open book testing. These models are trained on mountains of data from GitHub, forums, and wikis. If it's online, there's a good chance the model has seen it and maybe even memorized it better than your college roommate did before finals. The problem: if we mistake memorization for generalization, we risk fooling ourselves about how smart these models really are. Some say, hey, humans cram, why not AIs? But the line between learning and leaking gets fuzzy fast. New methods are emerging to detect contamination, audit training sets, and design cleaner tests. But here's the real kicker: we need benchmarks that model developers can't reasonably train on. Private, evolving, and curated. Otherwise, we're just handing them the answers and applauding when they get an A+. Because if we don't test properly, we are not measuring intelligence, we are just grading how well they read the back of the textbook. And this brings us to our last story, which is also focused on measuring AI progress. As models write essays, solve problems, and debate ethics, a bigger question looms. Are we inching towards AGI, or are we still staring across a foggy chasm? Demis Hassabis of DeepMind says AGI is near. For him, it's the goal: a flexible, human-level intelligence that solves global challenges and redefines what tech can do. But cognitive scientist Gary Marcus disagrees. Today's AI, he argues, is surface level, fluent but fragile, good at words but bad at understanding. And now, new research from Apple adds fresh weight to his case. The Apple paper released just a few days ago puts the latest so-called reasoning models, systems designed to think through problems rather than just predict answers, under a microscope. The findings are sobering. When tested on tasks like the Tower of Hanoi, even models like O3 and Claude struggled badly. In many cases, they couldn't even follow simple, explicit step-by-step instructions, the kind that an undergrad computer science student or a clever child could handle with ease. Co-author Iman Mirzadeh summed it up. These systems may talk about reasoning, but their process isn't logical or intelligent. They don't just fail to solve problems, they fail to follow clear solutions. And when pushed beyond low complexity tasks, their accuracy doesn't just drip, it collapses. Gary Marcus calls the results devastating, not just for hype. He says the paper reinforces two long-standing critiques. One, that LLMs don't generalize well outside their training distribution, and two, that their so-called reasoning traces, the internal step-by-step logic they produce, often don't match what the models actually do. If Hassabis sees LLMs as stepping stone to AGI, Marcus sees them as mirrors, reflecting the internet back at us, not truly thinking. We don't want an AGI that fails to carry the ones he quips. And this paper shows that we still don't have reliable general problem solving, the very essence of intelligence. Of course, there are caveats. As critics point out, humans also messed up the Tower of Hanoi, past 7 or 8 disks. But Marcus argues that's missing the point. AGI should combine the strengths of humans with the precision of machines, not inherit our weaknesses. These systems have memory, compute, and endless training, yet still stumble over tasks solved decades ago by symbolic AI. What the Apple paper underscores is that today's models, despite their size, fluency, and shiny reasoning modes, aren't a substitute for conventional algorithms. They can help write Python, yes, but they can't reliably run it. They falter in math, logic, and stepwise planning, all vital ingredients of general intelligence. So where does that leave us? Some believe the answer lies in scale, others like Marcus and Rao Rampattai say it lies in hybrid systems, ones that marry the pattern power of LLMs with the hard logic of symbolic reasoning. Either way, the Apple paper is a reminder: intelligence isn't just about sounding smart, it's about thinking well. And on that front, we still have work to do. And that's your AI roundup for this month. From Anthropic's ambitious Claude 4 models to Google's vision of AI everywhere, from Duolingo's teaching revolution to the sobering reality of AI security gaps. We're living through a moment where the pace of change feels almost breathless. The conversation around AGI reminds us that we're still asking the fundamental questions. What is intelligence? How do we measure progress? And perhaps most importantly, how do we ensure this technology serves everyone, not just the few? As we head into next month, one thing's certain: the AI story is far from over. It's evolving, sometimes stumbling, always surprising, and we'll be here to help you make sense of it all. I'm Nils Göring, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.